The reality is the effects of climate change are already upon us in terms of our transportation. We've seen that in the form of everything from heat waves that shouldn't statistically even be possible, threatening to melt the cables of transit systems in the Pacific Northwest, to hurricane seasons becoming more and more extreme, and indications that turbulence is up by about 15%. That means assessing anything and everything that we can do about it.
That was Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg yesterday addressing the mounting dangers posed by climate change. Our next guest is another former 2020 Democratic presidential candidate who is stepping up in the climate battle. However, he is doing it from the private sector. Tom Steyer is a billionaire investor and climate activist and the author of the new book, which bears the title Cheaper, Faster, Better: How We'll Win the Climate War, which argues that corporations and ordinary people must also take an aggressive approach to fighting the climate crisis. And Tom joins us now here in studio. He's also the co-executive chair of Galvanize Climate Solutions, a climate-centered investment firm. Tom, thanks for being here, and congrats on the book. Give us a sampling. How can we win the climate war?
Well, as the title suggests, Jonathan, we're going to win it in the marketplace. I was listening to the segment about travel, and travel is up on Memorial Day weekend in a record fashion. So people are going to live their lives. The question is, what kind of products and what kind of energy are they going to use to do it? And we're going to have clean energy and clean products that are cheaper, faster, and better, so people choose them of their own volition. That's why I'm working in the private sector, to help produce those products and to make sure that people make good choices.
Because the politics of this are so polarized, at least at the national level. It does seem when you move to the local level, there's more consensus, like, hey, we have to do these things because they're seeing the ramifications of climate change. Does that also give you hope?
Well, what really gives me hope is winning in the marketplace. And let me give you an example.
Please.
A state where the elected officials have come out strongly against renewable energy is Texas. Texas has tripled its solar energy in the last 3 years, and it's expected to go up another 35% this year. Texas produced by far the most wind energy of any state in the United States. Are they doing that to be nice? No, they're doing it because wind and solar are cheaper and better. So, in fact, what we're seeing is in the marketplace, people are choosing clean electricity because it's cheaper. People are choosing EVs because they're faster and they handle better. They're cheaper to maintain. They're cheaper to fill up. People are making choices based on their own needs and desires, and that's how we're going to win.
So the EV sales have slowed a bit, but you believe that that's the future. Give us another example or two of a technology or innovation, a product that the marketplace is going to push to the forefront.
Well, let me give you an example. One of the big emitters, believe it or not, is cement and concrete. Around the world, it is 8% of total CO2 emissions. We're not going to stop building the world with cement and concrete. So there's a company in Germany which uses sensors and artificial intelligence to change the mix of what goes into cement and concrete to make it up to half as much emissions, but also much cheaper. So if you're somebody who's a developer and you're building new buildings, you're going to use it because if you don't use it, your competitors are going to use it, and they're going to be able to beat you out in every contract because it's so much cheaper. That's how we win. Not just having products that are green, having products that are better and cheaper.
So one of the real challenges that other climate activists have said they face is this sort of disinformation and misinformation for those that have agendas that don't want to see these sort of improvements. How do we, as a society, battle that?
Well, there's no question there's a whole bunch of pushback. And the basic pushback is this. We're a oil and gas society that will always be an oil and gas society, and we can never get off it. But the truth is, globally, 86% of new electricity generation last year was renewable. The way we push back is with the facts, that in fact, people are making that choice, not because they're nice. And we have to get away from the idea that people are going to try and be nice about this. People are going to be self-interested. We're going to have to use the capitalist system to win in this and win in the marketplace. And the facts on the ground are going to be what they are. And that's what's going to dominate, not the rhetoric from oil and gas saying that we're here to stay and we're the only thing that can work.
So what can your average American do? We talked about government. We talked about big investments. We talked about, on the other side, some of the industries. But what can your average everyday American do to make a difference?
Well, the point that I try and make in the book is this. We all can be climate people and be aware that not only do we have to do our part individually, but much more, this is going to be a question of systemic change. So what does that look like for a person? It means you pay attention to what you drive, you pay attention to how you heat your home, you pay attention to how you travel, and you pay attention to who you vote for. Because this is going to be a question of America coming together to solve this collectively, systemically. Look, I view this, people like to view this as a huge problem, and we absolutely do have a crisis, but America was kind of built to step up to the big challenges together, and that means it's got to be all of us. It's not going to be part of the country. It's not going to be one political party. I think this is a great opportunity for us, in a really positive way, to remember how good each other is, to remember how smart and patriotic and thoughtful and tough we all are, and then to solve this together. That's the kind of challenge that America was built to solve.
A welcome note of hope on perhaps the most important issue we all face. The new book is titled Cheaper, Faster, Better: How We'll Win the Climate War, and it goes on sale tomorrow. Author and climate activist Tom Steyer, thank you for being with us this morning.
Jonathan, thank you for having me.